This week on Hermitcraft. Nah, nothing important happened. Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and at this point we feel like we're performing a vital public service. This week, the echoes of past shenanigans came back to take the form of not just a prank war, but a rapid fire of mayhem ricocheting at seemingly innocent bystanders. To untangle this web is only possible by going through every single episode one by one. And since that's what we do here anyway, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
We've been duped, you and me.
We have a little bit, yeah.
Our story begins with Escalation and his habit of using a pickaxe when no one is looking. The punishment Mumbo sent him for breaking obsidian with the tool you use to break obsidian was a shipment of basically all of the diorite Mumbo had at the time. So rather than apply his usual MO, by which we mean burning it all in a fire, Iscal decided the time had come for a prank. Who had a grandiose enough roof that he could apply a significant amount of bird poop to? Well, the same person who out-headed him in the Grian competition last week.
Yes! Yes! It's the chicken in the green costume.
To commemorate his second place disgrace, Iscal builds a chicken with a Grian head to apply the aforementioned bird poop, and proudly signs his work with a sign. Now, the Iscal vs False Prankmas would be a glorious display in itself, but this is where the whole thing goes south, as the passerby, ZombieCleo, decided to practice her wrench-throwing skills.
Oh no, I can make this better, I can make this better.
By Red Dog? Dude, I thought we were meant to be friends.
And that's how you break a server, by just changing one block. Now feeling betrayed by her foremost ally, False didn't just fire back, but brought in reinforcements. This is how Grian was roped into the mix, although he did not expect the free prank help card to come back to him so soon.
I can put two and two together. You want to retaliate against Ren, right, for this?
Well, of course, I've got to, right? You can't poop on my base without some sort of revenge.
Together, they built a makeshift roller coaster all around the Grand Central Station, ending in an obsidian pit, pouring lava on its hapless victim. They even tried to frame Iscal for the whole thing, using a fairly convincing Swedish accent.
Oh yeah, hi Rendog, it's me, Iscal, your Swedish friend.
Rendog sees through this expert deception, but instead of retaliating toward False, sets his sights on ZombieCleo, who after all was the one who pushed False and Grian in his direction. Recruiting his business partners, Docem and Impulse, Ren raises a ghost ship with a skeleton crew of armor stands, boarding ZombieCleo's flagship and taking off with her shulker boxes, which, in actual fact, were stored safely in her church on the island of Teramasalata. The ghost ship was all a diversion intended to draw her into a trap filled with poison potions and zombies. And while we have no idea whether she fell for it, we know for sure that Grian did, because somehow the signs pointing towards the trap appeared in his base.
Oh, I see what they mean by ghost ship. Oh! No! What? Okay. This. How do I stop this? Okay, hold still.
This led to Grian believing that Ren, Doc, and Impulse were conspiring against him in retaliation for the roller coaster he left at Grand Central Station. That's when Grian decides to hurt them where it hurts, and that just happens to be their wallets. With Tango as his getaway driver, they break into the diamond vault of the stock exchange and swap all the diamonds for Grian and Tango heads. Now, in reality, the riches never left the room, they were just hidden in a place you wouldn't see at first glance, but it sure did give a spook to the stockbrokers. Emphasis on the broke.
Oh no, the diamonds!
Yo, bro, we got robbed.
Oh jeez, dude.
No!
Look what he did to your shrub, dude. Look what he did to your shrub.
Tree! They touched the bush. They touched my
your bush.
bush.
With Doc's bush properly rustled, Ren officially declares it a prank war, as if up till now it was just a very slight disagreement over afternoon tea. Coincidentally, Azuma arrives to sell some stocks just as Doc M and Rendog find the vault seemingly empty, and Doc is left with no choice but to explain they've been robbed and recruit Azuma to help them recover the lost diamonds. But they might be confused about who to recover them from, because to hide their tracks, Tango and Grian did the whole heist disguised as false symmetry and Mumbo Jumbo wearing a Grian mask. This was a poor choice of people to blame, if only because False, for one, has a perfect alibi. At the time of the robbery, she and Rendog were pranking Iskal's sandcastle into a diorite cake with netherrack filling as a punishment for attempting to split them apart, which, again, is something he didn't do.
Thousands of netherrack blocks. Hundreds of diorite blocks. This is just like Iskal's worst nightmare right here.
This has all happened so fast that, statistically speaking, by the time this recap comes out, 3 more pranks will have taken place, and nobody will know who to blame for any of them. Surprisingly, one group not taking part in these festivities turned out to be the Convex, perhaps because their work on the Concorp Country Club kept Cub and Scar off the main Hermit Island. Cubfan in particular was running errands in the distant corners of the maps looking for one resource the shopping district does not have a lot of right now: cobwebs. You see, to keep novice golf players from throwing themselves into the sunset, Cub decided to fence off the training courses with a cobweb net. It's a worthy task, but by the time he's done, there won't be any novice players left. At least at this rate. False, Jevin, Wells Knight and Biffa have already submitted their new scores to the championship, and that's just talking this week alone. Both Scar and Cub also participated in the community Christmas area, each in their own way. Scar has added a much-needed Christmas tree market and an already decorated example pine to the area.
You can place an order here or DM me or something along those lines, and yeah, this place makes me really, really happy.
While Cub helped out Wells Knight building the entrance to the whole district.
We could. I'm not super worried about it, though. I mean, what's more festive? What's a better Christmas gift than walking through the entrance and having a creeper fall on your head?
This is not his only good deed, because having found a wandering polar bear out in a mesa, Cub delivered it to its very own igloo at the festive area, and even helped it find a fitting mate it can't mate with because Mojang didn't add polar bear breeding.
Yeah, so that's going to be our door, so people are going to be like, oh, what a nice little door. Oh, it's not a real door, it's a banner. Oh my god, there's a polar bear in my face.
False Symmetry 2 stops by with her own animal machinations, turning horses into reindeer with 2 branches and an attachable nose. Science has truly gone too far. The Secret Santa has started off for the year, but before people can get their hands on free prank opportunities, the pool of surviving participants has to be established. There's still some time to throw your name into the hopper and hope for the best. It's now even easier to get there, since Rendog spent some time on a live stream creating the rail line to the Winter Wonderland, and Azuma just so happened to plop a station at the end of it. The rest of Ren's week is spent being blamed for pranks he didn't commit and perpetrating pranks of his own.
Estimated what is actually wait a minute. Wait a minute. Thank you for riding the Grand Central Station roller coaster. If you look above, you will find your destination. No.
But he's still got time to brief Scar on the layout of the futuristic district station, which Scar has committed himself to building. We also get to witness the grand opening of the Big Rocks docks and its immediate assault by Poultryman.
I'm getting myself egged right now.
Who is that guy anyway? ZombieCleo is done setting the stage for her armor stand preschool and nativity play, but the cast is yet to be decided upon. For one, she needs to find a fitting actor out of the Hermit heads available, so of course it is down to her comments section to propose a baby Jesus. The minigolf course also sees a lot of action this week. Impulse SV, having claimed his plot last week, spends some time laying it out and installing gadgets that reward accurate shots, randomized obstacles, and jump scares. Oh wait, that's just Azuma.
But we need to get more unstackable IOGs.
After he's done shopping around for a Christmas tree, Doc M steps up to the course and builds a winding hole with a redstone-powered shortcut and a wave machine, because ice seems like a great material for that. Biffa returns to the server this week and immediately gets caught up in the server-wide Snowball fight, although at first he doesn't realise it's 1 point per player, and he pelts Iskal with a few stacks before he gets the memo.
It's not counting all of the things, is it? That's what's going on.
Once he learns the game's true objective though, he vows to snowball every member of the whitelist, although he's got a bit of catching up to do. Still, at least a round of golf with Wells Knight will give him more practice at chucking spherical things towards distant targets. The snowball fight also takes hold of Joe Hills long enough for him to chase Jevin into the Nether Hub and apply a well-aimed frozen treat to the face. In between trips to conventions and slideshows of photographs from said conventions, Joe has been leaving presents around the base of the giant Christmas tree, once again confirming that glazed terracotta is only good when used as wrapping paper. Iskal doesn't want to wait for Christmas to receive some freebies as he's running out of diamonds, so he places a donation chest in the shopping district next to a forlorn-looking armor stand. Unsurprisingly, the first 2 things his server mates donate are a Grian head and a stack of diorite renamed Subscribe to Mumbo. By the time he actually gets any valuable donations, he's done enough off-camera grind work to mine 2 stacks of diamonds, not to mention finishing off his storage room inside the belly of the Sphinx, and the prank war is well underway, so he decides to prepare a war room with a giant map of the server stretched out over the table. But when he's ready to take down the donation box, he finds a note from Mumbo directing him to a private jet, an actual jet-shaped flying machine adorned with diamond and iron blocks, which Iskall can help himself to if he can catch up with it in the first place.
He is. Oh crap! Oh, don't crash! Don't crash!
At least now he can buy that chicken he's always wanted. Although he'll have to be quick because the chickens are literally flying off the shelves. After making a couple of adoptions of her own from False Symmetry's Shulker service, Stress Monster visits the chicken sanctuary to find that 2 chickens have already been claimed and their habitats built according to specification. One of them has even taken up the fine arts.
Oh my god! Self-portrait by Darren.
We also have My Brethren the Duck, minimalist sculpture by Darren, right here. So he has a little duck face right there. Very, very minimalistic.
While the other seems to have been spirited away by a distant relative.
Where is Sally?
Which one of you is Sally? They all look happy, so I'm pretty sure that this is exactly what you're supposed to do with this.
With the success of these adoptions, Stress expands the collection of available chickens, and not a moment too soon because folks are queuing up to have a chicken poop some stuff for them. Jevin swings by later to claim a chicken who wants a moon-like habitat, even installing a jump boost beacon for realistic space physics. Python also spends the week in the far reaches of space, although that's mostly so that people can stop asking him to restock his Shulkerbox shop. Setting out to raid 10 end cities, he gets about halfway before returning to drop off his loot, warping back through a different gateway and promptly falling into the void.
What? How?
Yeah, it turns out when Azuma pruned the end chunks recently, some of those end gateways didn't regenerate. Still, Python has enough diamond loot from the first 5 cities that he can easily make it to the next 5, and pretty soon the chests at the Shulkerbox shop are ready for commercial success once again. TFC emerges from Vault 6 to take in the new developments at the shopping district, although he's after the basics, a few villager trades, a couple stacks of logs, and whatever cows he can drag in from the far-flung reaches of the server. At least the fictional residents of this underground community will have something to grill on their fancy new barbecues. And finally there's Mumbo, who, when he's not flying ever southward on a plane made of diamond blocks, gets to play on his newly terraformed island, courtesy of Good Times with Scar. We're not sure, but we think he's happy with it.
I can't believe this is my base. I can't believe this is my base. That is the coolest looking thing. It's almost a shame to build up the city around it.
With the cubing of his island taken care of, he turns his attention to farms, sorting out a collection mechanism for his overproductive melon and pumpkin flingers, covering up his kelp farm with a viewer-suggested build, and building a blaze farm because his base is a death trap without lighting and he needs end rods. Setting up an outlet for his excess gourds, conveniently close to iTrade, his other community contribution is a very redstone-y mini-golf plot where the redstone sometimes works for you but is mostly there to frustrate you. So basically like all redstone, really.
I wonder why that is. Oh, of course.
It's that time you've all been waiting for, or at least we hope you have. We don't know your life. But it's this week's recap tag, and we would be remiss if we didn't tag the puppet master herself, ZombieCleo. So head on over to her latest Hermitcraft episode and leave the comment, "What have you unleashed?" with as many question marks at the end as you feel necessary. And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. If you want to see what happens when Zloy and 2 of his friends spawn on a 5-block island in the middle of nowhere, check that out in the End Screen Theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.